Hi fam, I'm telling you, if there's a president in Africa who makes great speeches, is none other but William Samoei Ruto. He makes great speeches, like the one that he made on the 13th August House, the parliament, when he was addressing the state of the nation. I mean, it's just amazing. You might think Ruto is a genius. Someone who doesn't know the real state of the nation might think that Kenya is this close to becoming Singapore. But there are things that I picked, and some of them, they are quite scary. Like this statement.
Ladies and gentlemen, honorable members, our Constitution under Article 201C stipulates that the burdens and benefits of the use of resources and public borrowing shall be shared equitably between present and future generations. In essence, when we use natural resources or borrow, we must ensure future generations are not left poorer. That is why, alongside the National Infrastructure Fund, we will establish the Sovereign Wealth Fund to give full effect to the constitutional principle of intergenerational equity. A portion of all royalties from natural resources and a portion of proceeds from privatization of national assets will be invested in the fund.
This is something really nice, but it's scary at the same time because he's talking about national wealth and how it's supposed to be equitably shared amongst the current generation and the oncoming generation. That means our children and their children, our grandchildren. It's scary because if you look at the current state of our nation, the huge debt that we have, that is something to scare you. And you know, something interesting that I look at is the population of Kenya standing at 57.5 million Kenyans. And something surprisingly that I want you to understand is that out of the 57.5 million people, the whole entire population of Kenya, only 6,800 families, we can say, that are dollar millionaire. This is the smallest number. 6,000, not even 1 million. 6,800 families are dollar millionaire. And another surprising thing is that about 7% of this number is from the political class, whose wealth is inherently hidden through international financial infrastructures and structures, things like Shell, things like Swiss banks, things like places where we cannot trace their wealth. And the president is talking about the national resources that should be shared equitably through the current generation and the coming generation. You get the thing here. You're talking about 6,800 families that are dollar millionaire. These are the rich people in Kenya. The people who calls the shots. Out of 57.5 million. Not even the 0.5 million is a dollar millionaire. 57.5 million people, only 6,000. What does that leave you? That all these debts that Ruto is talking about being equitably being shared, debts, national resources, debts, the debts that we are taking now, the debts that is standing at 12 point something trillion is going to be paid by you and your generation, not them, not the 6,800 families, not the political class. It's you, the taxpayer. You're going to work hard for that. We're going to work hard for that. Our children will work hard to pay these debts. And the August House is there clapping for Mr. President, making him emotional and making him cry. He got emotional. He was crying. Dude was crying when they were saying 2 terms. 2 terms of neo-colonialism. 2 terms of making your lives miserable. That's what people are clapping at. 2 terms. 2 terms. I'm telling you, The president said that the August House, I don't know, he applauded them. He clapped for them. He said he praised them. But personally, I think if there's the most parliament we've ever had is the August 13th parliament. That's the most useless parliament that we had. The parliament that only rubber stamps the things that are the narratives of the executive. The kind of state capture that we have in the current administration, it's alarming. You also Didi Nyoro, our Didi, not Sean Didi, our own Didi, Kenyan Didi, talking about how the government, the Ruto's government, have privatized or secured, what is it, the housing levy for like 10 years. Meaning that even the coming government, if it won't be Ruto's government, things like housing levy, they won't be able to remove that because they're already secured as security bonds or something. So the government is borrowing loans that will be paid through the housing levy. So there's no any point you're going to stop paying the housing levy, and it's not going to benefit you. It started as a good thing, but now it became a levy, it became a tax. And nobody's going to benefit from that. The houses they were supposed to build about 200 and something thousand, they haven't even built nothing. 2024, Eote, did they even build 100,000? 10,000? I don't know how much they built. But it's not equal to whatever. And the president is there telling us that, cheering himself, saying how much they have achieved, the things they have achieved. Makes me question myself, which country are we living in? Because we could be talking about another Kenya that is not the one that we know. We don't want to be, nobody want to hate, but I saw some TV stations trying to fact check him. Some of the things that he said are correct, but most of the majority of the things that the president says, I don't know where he gets this data from. I don't know where they get these development data from. It's not from Kenya, it's from some other places. And this is the most craziest thing. Now just know that the debts that are standing in Kenya right now, the 12 point something trillion, is going to be paid by you, not them. They're not going to be part of paying that debt. Even though the constitution says that equitably, even if it was to be equitably, the amount of money they've stolen, the amount of money they have stolen, even if equitably was to be shared for us to pay that debt in equal measures, they won't feel any pain. They won't feel any pain like the one that we will feel for the rest of our lives. Right now, my children owe the government money. My kids are innocent, but they owe the government hundreds of thousands. Right? They are not part of their system, but they are forced to be part of it. You did not borrow that, but you're forced to be part of paying it, this generation and the coming generation. Now, I saw Jimmy Wanjigi. I think he met the budget committee or financial committee or something like that. He tabled his the way they want to do the forensic audit and things like that, to audit that. And he mentioned something that was very interesting, that if they did the forensic audit on Kenyan debt, you could be surprised that Kenya doesn't even owe anyone any debt. And if most of the money was borrowed illegally, unconstitutionally, the people who did that should be liable for that, to pay the debt, which I think it's quite reasonable. But is it going to happen? Are we going to give that a chance to happen? My thinking is maybe no. Because if we were to do a forensic audit, out of the 6,800 families, dollar millionaire families, I can tell you about 30% of that will be sinking into that kind of route. So you can tafakari hayo.